Hi students, today it's time for another art video, but first let's do Godzilla of the Week. So here it is. This is Gigan. He fights Godzilla in Godzilla Final Wars. And they had an older version of Gigan, I don't know, back in the day. I like the old Gigan. This is a smaller version of a Gigan. I have a bigger one, but I couldn't find him. Anyways, I got this guy, but he's pretty cool. He's got a cool design, pretty crazy. He's got this like chainsaw on his stomach, you know. He's got claws. He's good times. Anyways, that's a toy from 2005, I think. Anyways, that's that. So that's the Godzilla of the Week. Let's get on to the art portion of the video. Hi, sixth graders and remote sixth graders. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Now, remote sixth graders have been doing this. We've been working on this Georgia O'Keeffe big flower. It's going to end up looking like this. And remote students are using oil pastels, right? But we're not going to finish this today. So we have one more week of this. We're going to do this next week. What I need to do is today I have to miss school because I'm recovering from like a minor surgery. So, but they won't let me come. They forced me to take a week off, so that's fine. But anyways, so the classes. Let's see, who am I missing this week? I'm missing Corver's class, Corver. So Corver students and Vanderdusen students, you have to do this, okay? And if you're going to do it and you're going to bring it to school, you're going to put your name on it, and I'll give you a dum-dums, right? I'll even try to bring the blue ones. I'll try to bring the other flavors because everyone likes the good, you know. So I'll try to bring all the flavors. You can try to pick your flavor. But anyways, you'll do this and you'll turn it in next time I'm at school, which will probably be a week or two. When I see you, you'll bring this. You go, here, Mr. Smith, and I'll hand you over your flavor of Dum Dum. Okay. If so, Corver, because I'm missing. This is the week of Corver and Vanderdusen's class, so I'm missing you guys. Now, if you're in Vanderkirk and Woodhead and you're like, oh, I'm watching this video and I want to do that and I want to get a Dum Dum, then go for it, do it, and I'll give you one, right? So this will be good. This is good practice, and again, it's also kind of building up to our still life. So okay, here we go. So here's what we're gonna do. You want to find you gotta get a piece of blank paper. Blank paper. Copy paper works good. So if you have or just any kind of blank paper. If you have like a sketchbook, then use a sketchbook. But if you just have blank paper, that's fine. If you have sketchbook, do that. I have extra paper, so I don't need all these other papers. That's for my other class. Then you want to get two pencils, two number two pencils. Now we're going to draw with one. We're going to draw with one, and then the other one we're actually going to draw. Okay? You're like, what? Yeah. So we're going to draw the tip of that pencil, and we're going to shade it. Now, when you get your number, these are pretty common around the house. Hopefully you have one. Don't get a round one. You'll notice that this one has like beveled edges. It has like these. It's kind of like, what is it, a hexagon? Looks like it's a hexagon. So it has these kind of beveled edges. Gosh, focus. So that's what you want to get. You want to get this, a beveled one. Now, if you only have one beveled one, that's fine. That's the one you're going to draw. If you have like a round one, you can draw with a round one. If it's sometimes they're rounded, right? But if you have one that has the beveled edge, then that's the one you're going to draw, okay? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a value chart, a 5 value chart, not a 9. So we're going to just draw a box, kind of like here. Let's see, let's not make it too big. I'm going to be merciful to you. I'm healing, right? Actually, I'm not healing yet. This is beforehand, but, I'm healing, so let's take it easy. So it's just a small, like how big is that? I don't know. It's about that big. And we're going to do our values in here. We're going to do 5 values. Now the first, let's see, when we do values, what do we want to do? We want to do, I can't just cut it in half. Well, you know what we could do? Let's do it like this. This will be easier. Let's cut it in half. This will only give us 4. We'll cut it in half. And then we'll cut each one of these in half. This will give us 4. And then let's just add a box that's about the same size. It's hard to divide it by 5, but it was easy to divide it by 4. So I did like one line in the middle, divided those 2 boxes, so I got 4, and then I just added a box. Okay, so I've shown you this before, but in a value scale, it goes from light to dark. So this top one is white. That's like the lightest value. So that we don't even do anything with that one. On the bottom, we go as dark as possible. So I would recommend you go around the edge first. I'm getting like oil pastel on my, whatever. Okay, so you want to go as dark as you can get with that pencil. Now, believe it or not, this is not a black. It's dark, but this is the darkest we can get with a number 2 pencil, right? But it's definitely not a black. But that's okay. Like we're making a value, like a 5 value chart from our pencil, right? Okay. So let's see, that's going to be white. So then we want to go medium. So we want to skip this one and go to medium. So this medium is going to be in between the darkest value and the lightest value. So just think of it like a gray. Now, I recommend that you don't go super dark at first because you can always make this darker. If you make this too dark, it's hard to make it light again. Reminds me of that Bible verse. It's like if your eyes are in darkness. Oh, I'm gonna totally misquote it. I don't know. It was something to the effect of like if all you can see is darkness, then you're really corrupt. that was a terrible paraphrase. Okay, so now between this value and this value, it's going to be darker than this, but lighter than this. So like I could even start by just trying to go a little darker than this. So I'm going to go a little darker. Actually, that's pretty good. Ooh. See, it's very similar to that one. So I'm going to make this one a little darker, but not as dark as that. There. That's pretty good. And you can see it. That's kind of hard to do. So I should have probably gone a little lighter for my medium value. Like I guess I didn't, I thought that was the right value, but if I was a little lighter here, I wouldn't have had to. This is very close, but okay. Now I want to go lighter than this. So I'm going to start real light and then just build it up. Let's see. Actually, that's pretty good. Wow, that's it. There. I don't want to go darker than that. Boy. Okay. Sometimes you can make things darker, but you can't. It's hard to make your darkest darker. But that's pretty good. So you can see the 5 values. Light. This is medium gray, black, even though it's not a true black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. Normally there's 9 values, but it's hard to achieve that with a number 2 pencil. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but they have darker, pastels and things we can do. But so you want to do this, the 5 values. In art school, you'll probably do 9s. I can't even remember when I did them in art school. I'm just trying to remember how difficult they were. Maybe they weren't so bad. It was kind of the same thing, except there's 2 more on each side. Okay. Well, anyways, there's that. So now we want to draw our pencil. And we want to draw it large. Well, you know what? Maybe we don't want to draw it too large because, oh my gosh, that'd be a lot of shading. But let's draw it at least this big. So let me show you. Whoa, focus. I'm going to show you. So we're just going to draw like this part. That part. It's going to be big. But I don't know. Let's put it at an angle. I'm drawing lightly first, right? And then this is just a triangle. Oh. See, if you draw lightly, I don't have, I forgot to get an eraser. Here we go. I forget what these are called, but these work really well. I forget. If you don't have one, you can use these don't have erasers, but any kind of good eraser will work. Okay. So that's it. So I mean, we basically just want to draw that. It's not too huge, but not too small either. Now I want to try to carefully, I want to look. The tricky part is now you want to look really close. I can't really hold this up. I mean, I guess I could. I could do something like this. But you want to get the top part. That's going to, you can tell like right away. You're like, "Oh, that's why Mr. Smith picked this." Oh, come on, go into focus. Come on, focus. Come on, focus. Well, you can come on. Can't get it to focus. But you can see there's a light value on top, kind of a medium value, and then a dark value underneath. And then they're kind of like steps, kind of like our value chart. Oh, come on, focus. I'm so mad. But then this part of the pencil, it's smooth. It's like a smooth blending, right? That's why I picked it. That's why I picked it. Okay, here we go. But the tricky part is trying to draw those three lines. Well, let's keep it. Oh, focus, dude. Let's just do it simply. We're going to go like this. I'm just going to draw a line here, and then I'm going to draw a line here, right? We're not going to worry about the tilted perspective of that. And then you'll notice that it kind of goes like this, right? Kind of like that. And then the lead, the lead is kind of here. Do it kind of like this. Do it like don't do it like a perfectly round thing. If you look real carefully at your lead, you'll notice that it's like, remember, we're like zooming in on that detail, right? So it's kind of like that. Okay. We'll tighten this up. It's kind of rounded here. Ugh. Okay. Now, another thing you'll notice that there's a shadow. Well, maybe it depends on the light you have in your room or wherever you're doing it. But we want to have a shadow here. So where's the shadow go? Well, okay. So it's partially. It's going to be like this. Partially here. Let's see. Does it go beyond it? Actually, it's right here. It actually starts curving here. So I kind of failed there. So it's gonna curve. It's gonna be right about here. And then this part goes up. Like you can imagine, it kind of goes back here. Do this lightly because we got to shade that, right? Like see how I got that little dot there? I did that to show you where we wanted to like I'm going to erase that a little bit. It starts to I have another dot there. Funny. Okay. There. So that's really the drawing. That's the drawing. So now we want to do shading. Okay. Well, we know now there's a highlight on this lead. I'm looking very closely. So let's draw the highlight. The highlight's probably going to be like right about here. So we don't want to go, now it's darker. It's not a pure white. I'm looking, now mine's super tiny. On your table, look at your other pencil lead and you'll see that the light value, it's probably like the darkest it goes, it's like the darkest. And that would probably be like right here. But then it kind of gets like as it approaches that highlight, it gets a little lighter. So you can kind of shade it. You can go a little lighter, but then it goes dark again. Okay. Now, that looks like a super shiny highlight. It's not that bright. It's probably this. It's probably our number 2 value. So let's just go like that. Yeah. Okay. Then I want this to be a little darker. You can't even see what I'm doing. And then, so this is like this value. And then right above it is this value. But then it may be a little bit of that, but this is the highlight. The highlight is number 2. There's no white in that. Okay. Now let's see. There's not much of a line here. So this should be light. So keep this line light. But this one gets a little darker, so I'm gonna kind of shade here a little bit. So let's see. Now, what happens is when your pencil gets duller, the tip gets broader and it's easier to shade. So what you can do is, I guess I have a test paper. You could do something like this. You could just kind of like shade, and then you'll notice that you're getting that You can barely see it. It's like a wider tip, and then it'll enable you to get a broader shading side of your pencil. Now don't turn it, because then you'll get that fine point again. That could help you. Okay. Anyways, mine is just naturally. The more you use it, the more it. What am I trying to say? The more it gets broader like that. Now it looks like this highlight, it kind of goes kind of to the middle of the pencil. So like we're going to go light. Let's do this value first. It doesn't get much darker. Well, okay. And then, okay. Now, let's leave it for now, but you know that we're going to want to get a little darker here, but not too much darker. This, you can kind of see it. This, well, it's not as dark as this. Okay, so what value is that? To be honest, it kind of looks like, it's like, you know, it's kind of like this. It's a little lighter than this. It's kind of like that. Okay, well, let's see. Let's do this one first. This one's the darkest, so this is probably the medium value. Let's see. If your values are like slightly off, don't worry about it. And it's better to go lighter and then go darker later. Like try not to go too dark to begin with. Except for the pencil lead, like we knew, right? It's easier to go darker than it is to go, like you can't really erase this. Like, oh, I went too dark and I'm just going to erase it. Oh, that doesn't work very well. It's difficult. So that is kind of like this value. I might have gone a little too dark. I should have listened to myself and not make it. So then this one, let's go to this value, but I think we might want, yeah, let's try it. We might, okay. So I don't want to go too dark. Almost the same as this. Okay. And then this top value has a little bit, but not much, like barely any. Barely any. Okay. Now, okay. And then this value, the shadow, it's actually not that dark. If you, you know, my, I can't show you, but if you close one eye and look at this, when you, because normally when you look, you have stereoscopic vision, you see in 3D. And I know it's probably not going to make that big of a deal, but when you close one eye and look at this pencil, you don't have the 3D vision as much, and it kind of flattens out what you're looking at, and you can kind of, it helps you kind of see a little better. So I'm closing my left eye. You're like, I'm not going to do that, Mr. Smith. Okay, fine, I don't care. But I'm closing my left eye, and it helps me kind of see the, it flattens out what I'm looking at a little bit, not that much. You're like, not really, Mr. Smith. Trust me. This shadow is not as dark as this. It's not as dark as the bottom of that pencil either. So this isn't super dark. So let's make it this value, though. It's not too dark. We're going to darken things up. The problem is it's starting to blend in with the bottom of my pencil. It's like, it's okay. That's actually good. You know, there's no, like like when you draw, when you look in reality, there's no like outlines. Like you don't draw the pencil. Like these lines, because we drew lightly, hopefully you drew lightly, they're starting to like disappear, and that's good because there aren't lines like surrounding objects in real life. That's a drawing convention, right? Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, so now we want to start darkening and blending things a little bit. The first thing we want to do is, this is kind of like our number 2 value, but we want to blend it. We almost, if we had 9 values, we want to get the value in between this and in between white. So we want to barely blend it. Like, there, let's see. Barely. I think I got it. Just barely do it. So it kind of blends into the white. I think I did it. So barely, though. Barely. You might need a little bit more. That's okay. I don't care. Now, on the bottom of the pencil, it gets a little darker. So here we go. We're going to go like this. but not too, don't go too dark yet. So here we go. We're going to go here. It's going to be a little darker than your shadow, but not too dark. Not as dark as that. Like, oh, well, that's hard. I know. Okay. And then I'm going to try to blend it into that next value very carefully. Let's see here. Try not to leave, see how I had little white spots in there? Okay, I'm going to try it. I think I failed. Let's see. So don't worry. Remember, this is practice. If you don't get it perfectly, don't worry about it. You can see even me, well, I got a camera in front of my face right here, but we're learning, so don't worry if it's not perfect. Remember, what I really want you is to try. Like if you just kind of scribble it in, no way. But if you just very carefully, if you try and go lightly, like I'm telling you, and just, slowly build it up, you'll be able to make an incredible shaded pencil drawing, right? Okay, that's pretty good. I don't know if I want that to be darker yet. I'm going to leave it because I want to darken some of my other values a little bit, and then I'll maybe come back and see. So what you do is if you darken something and then something else has to be a little darker, so we're going to just experiment. Although this is bugging me, this little, I'm going to erase that. Okay. Now, notice how it doesn't, you can kind of see this pencil line here. I want this value to come to that edge. So let me see if I can shade that a little better. Maybe I'll make this just a little darker. There. That looks a little nicer because I don't see that fake pencil line. There would be no pencil lines. Uh-oh, I'm going darker. I'm making it a little darker here. Now, the question is, can you blend it with your finger? You can, but don't do it too much. Let me see what I can do here. Notice how I got this little dark spot here. Oops. Let me see if I can blend this. You should be able to. Don't use all your fingers because then you'll just get smudges all over. I'm just going to try to use this finger, my pointer finger. It does blend a little bit. Don't depend. Sometimes, I'm not saying you never blend, but sometimes it's a crutch. Sometimes people, like students, they'll blend it so much that everything just gets kind of smeary. It's okay, like these pencil lines, it's not the end of the world to have those. In fact, they give it a little bit of grit. They give it a little bit of texture. It's kind of okay. And remember, if you're looking at this far away, your mind kind of blurs these little lines. I do want to blend this on the edge a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. Then I can erase. Don't go crazy. But if you went too far with your blending, I don't know. Okay, whatever. There it is. I want this to be a little darker, but not too much darker. Let's see. Oh, that's funny. Failed. Okay. I want this to be a little darker, so here we go. But not much darker. I want this pencil line to blend in with my value. Oh, I don't like that. It's okay. Actually, it looks good on the camera. In real life, it's like I said, don't worry if it's not perfect. I just want this to be a little darker. Now, sometimes there's a little bit of a, let's leave a little bit of a highlight in here. Highlight, not white, but let's like not go all the way to the edge. Let's kind of go like right here. So it kind of looks like there's like a worn, there, you can kind of see, you can see it in the camera. That's good. Okay, so let's just, I might have to blend this with my finger. Now I kind of got like a dark edge there, so I'm going to kind of blend this back into this value. So I'm going to kind of just kind of go down and kind of blend that down. Does that look good? I don't know. Not really. Trying to blend it gradually. Sometimes it just takes time. Okay, I'm going to try to blend it with my finger a little bit. Sometimes when you blend it, you lose your dark value, and so then you have to add it again. For kicks, I'm going to make this a little darker right on this edge. I looked at, see, the way I'm looking at my pencil, it's a little different. My table is white, and so I kind of looked underneath, and it's actually lighter under here because the white, hello, focus, focus. Okay. It's actually lighter here, but I didn't see that until I totally peeked underneath. So what we can do is we can make this a little darker, but then not go all the way to the bottom. And what that is, that's reflected light. Now my table is white. Here, so I'll show you. I'm going to make this a little darker, but not go down all the way. And I'm going to make this just a little darker here. So if you're careful and the more nuanced we shade, we're actually kind of going in between our values, but that's okay. I just didn't want you to do 9 values. It's tricky, especially for practice. Okay. There. And then maybe I can just blend this with my pencil. Okay, not bad, not bad. It's just a simple pencil drawing, but it has the different values, and that's what makes it interesting. Now, before you finish, you want to double check some things about your pencil. First, the bottom edge here should be a little darker than your shadow. Mine is barely darker, and that's pretty good. If you need to, check. Make it a little darker. Do it lightly. That's pretty good. Another thing you can do is, it's kind of funky to have a line here, right? So you can't, I don't recommend you erase it. But what you can do is maybe you can blend super carefully. Blend this value into the white or whatever it is. So watch, I'm going to go barely do this, barely. Barely. That might look a little better. It might not look just like a pencil line. It looks like it's a little bit of a shadow. Now I'm looking at my pencil. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have that shadow there. But I am hyper analyzing it, and I'm kind of adding it so that it doesn't look like a pencil line. This thing's in reality, it doesn't have a line there, but if I shade it, it looks more like a shadow going around the tip of the pencil instead of just a pencil line. So I guess I'm kind of cheating it a little, but not really. And same here, like I don't like this. Now I could try to erase it, but it's hard. It's almost better not to erase it, because that, let me try. I mean, you can maybe do it a little. The problem is that just ruins everything. I don't recommend, that's kind of a trap. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to blend the dark value of that pencil line into this other. So let's see if I can do it. I'm barely though. Just barely, like barely nothing. Oh, I did too much. Okay, so I'm going to barely do it. Is it better? Maybe. I'm barely doing it. Maybe I can blend it with my finger a little bit. Yeah. But then this needs to be a little, see how it's a slippery slope? Slippery slope means you keep getting more into trouble. Actually, they use it for arguments, philosophical arguments. Like if one thing is true, then that must be true, and you kind of fall down this rabbit hole. But anyways, okay, so there it is. See, I did that a little too much. But whatever. But there, I kind of got rid of my pencil lines. Like I kind of shaded them into the drawing a little bit. So not bad. But you can go back and kind of look like, does this need to be a little darker? I think that's okay. This looks pretty good. You don't want this stuff to be too dark. That's it. So hopefully that worked out. If not, don't worry about it. It was practice. It was fun. But you definitely want to put your name on the back of your paper. And then put the class you're in too. So like, I'd put, you put your first name, and then if you're in Corver, you'll put a K, put a circle around it. If you're in, Vanderdusen VD, circle it, right? And then if you're in the other classes, Vanderkirk, and you just want to do it, you want to get a dum-dum, great. Take good care of this, bring it to school, and then when I see you in class, like don't just find me when I'm walking around, I can't, but in class, I'll give you a dum-dum. If you're a remote-only student, do you get a dum-dum? Not really. Maybe. Hold on to your paper. If you ever do come back to school, I'll give you one. Just this is like your ticket. When I collect it, I'll give you a dum dum. Okay? So maybe if I see you again, or whatever, I don't know. Maybe if we do the art show, bring it on the art show, and I'll have my bag of dum dums, and I'll turn it in, and I'll give it to you, or whatever. I don't know. So, but that's it. So hopefully that was interesting. It wasn't super hard. Remember, this was practice. But you can see that shading can be a lot of fun. Shading is looking at these values. There's a million YouTube videos about shading and doing values. I did them last year when we were in remote learning, and they were really good videos. Like we did lips and well, that was fifth grade, so you're probably in no, this is sixth grade. So yeah, you probably did the lips, and then other classes they did different things. Like we did different things, and those YouTube videos, oh, someone did an eye. Like last year, the sixth graders did an eye. So there's a lot of real interesting videos that are probably better than what I just showed you. But I wanted to do something kind of simple and interesting. If you are interested in this stuff, of course, you can always look on YouTube. And there's people that spend much more time and are much more careful and probably have um, better pencils than these number twos. Number twos, you can do okay. I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, look at my pencil lead. That's pretty sweet. So, I mean, it just takes time to make these things perfect. So, but there's lots of information out there, art YouTube videos that are pretty sweet. So, anyways, I hope you had fun, and I'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, I'll get to see you in school. Don't forget, bring this to school, and I'll give you a dum dum. Put your name on the back, right, and I'll collect them. So that's it. So have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.